Do you want to go to a place? I want to go to a place. Do you want to go to a place? I want to go to a place. I can take you there. I can take you there. Do you want to go to a place? I can take you there. Say there. Do you want to go to a place? Search far and wide by your side. Far and wide by your side. Search far and wide.
Hello, nieces, nephews, sisters, and brothers. How are you all doing today? Thank you for stopping by. Listen. Thank you for coming by. I am TJ Randolph, and welcome to Mosaic with TJ Randolph. And I say Mosaic because I am a work of art made of many broken pieces. Shout out to RM. Thank you so much for being here. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. Yeah, it's kind of late to be drinking coffee, but it's still kind of cold. It's a little bit cold and nippy here, so I'm drinking some coffee and got some light jazz playing in the background. Let me get to the announcements. Shout out to my hardworking trucker man who is actually here home on vacation this week, and to all the truckers who are traveling these highways and byways, bringing us our much needed goods and keeping the supply chain moving. I appreciate that. Shout out to my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams, whose song Noun is on the intro, and his song Sunshine will be on the outro. Shout out to my niecey Poo Lucky Marie for the intro that she put together for me. I greatly appreciate it. Is the music in the background too loud? Please put a 2 in the chat if the music in the background is too loud. You saw the thumbnail, you saw my title, and I'm tired. I'm tired, okay? I am so tired. Hi, M. Mills. Hi, Sis at Red Lipstick Vibes. I'm tired. And I want to talk about this whole thing, but I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say. And I'm going to, it's low? Okay, good. Thank you. This past week, I really haven't been in these YouTube streets because I have been living real life. And what does that mean? Me and my husband, shout out to my baby. My baby traveled to Tennessee to move my 80-year-old aunt here to Texas with us. And yeah, we did that. But in the meantime, I was listening to some stuff intermittently. And to be honest, it saddened me. And I'm going to get into it. And another thing, my baby was in a car accident yesterday, and I'm so grateful that he was not injured. So in the midst of all this foolishness that's going on in these YouTube streets, I have been face to face with real life and understanding what really matters. But the reason why I want to come to you today, let me get my notes because I lose my train of thought. So let me talk about thank you. And again, I'm grateful that my baby was not hurt because again, at the end of the day, real life continues away from these YouTube streets. So when I think about what's happened this week, no, Mr. Randolph. Oh, you're talking about Sir Alan. Yes. Okay. Um, when I listened to the stuff this week, I'm drained. And I'm not gonna lie and say that it hasn't disappointed me. I've had actual tears flow from my eyes because of what I see as a circus. So let me get my notes here. Please hit the like button on your way in. Okay, so let's talk about just Pearly things. And this is not going to be her centered, but she is the one that started all of this. Okay. With her comments that she talked about with respect to her Africans, with her stating that, she thought to a degree that slavery was embellished, as agreeing with Nick Fuentes about the Holocaust. Those statements bothered me. It bothered me that she felt comfortable enough to not only have that conversation, but to joke about it. Okay. Do I think she's prejudiced? Do I think she's racist? I can't say. I don't know her. And I don't follow her content. But what I will say, the comments that were made, I found disrespectful. I found them distasteful. Someone has indicated that you've had Oprah Winfrey have racist and KKK members on hers. You had Jerry Springer. Okay, yes, I'm old enough to know all of that. But what I also remember, there were times that there was some pushback, not just sitting by complicit, for lack of a better word, in the conversation. And because from my way of thinking, if there's no pushback, there's a certain amount of agreement. Now, you don't have to agree with that. So that's what I found offensive about her comments. I found them disrespectful because I'm old enough to remember my great grandmother, who was born in the 1800s. I'm old enough to remember the stories that my grandfather and my older relatives told about the things that they remembered, the stories told from their parents and grandparents about what they experienced in slavery. I'm old enough to remember the stories when told about my great grandmother, who of the 11 children she had, her first child was mulatto because she was great by the plantation or the field owner. I'm old enough to remember those stories and the result of those. Again, my uncle, who was the only one of her 11 children with highly fair skin, very fine hair, and blue eyes. I'm old enough to remember those stories when that situation happened and she was married to my great grandfather and there was nothing he could do about it. So when she talked about that she thought it was embellished, that struck a chord with me, and there was nothing funny about it. There was nothing funny about it. But when I think about what has happened in the last week based on the discourse about her, I'm far more concerned with what we have done to ourselves in this last week than what she did. Well, what do you mean by that, TJ? I mean, it is more than just differences of opinion. it is more than just, thinking that she said something wrong or thinking that she's racist or not thinking that she said something wrong or not thinking that it's more than that. It is the fact that we have slung mud at each other for the world to see and laugh at. That is what has really brought me to tears this week. Because me and Mr. Randolph have fundamental differences on a lot of things. As a matter of fact, quite frankly, when we started dating, he is more of a conservative and I'm more liberal with conservative tendencies. During the election period, there were times we had spirited debates about certain things, our stances. But we agreed that no matter what our differences of opinion and viewpoints were, that we were not going to allow the outside influences to affect what went on in our home. And that's exactly what we've done this week. That's exactly what we've done this week. We have berated each other. Men have called women bitches, hoes. Men and women have called coons. So we've called each other names and have become fodder for the greater demographic to use. And I'm saddened by it. Like the streets of Chicago, Memphis, and Detroit, and LA, we are destroying ourselves for the people at large to sit back and just let us kill ourselves. I'm bothered by it. What I said about Pearl when I was on Courtney's show, I mean it. And what I meant by that was when I said, it's interesting how this 26-year-old is the example of what Black men said that they didn't want with respect to not prioritizing marriage and family. As she climbs her respective career ladder in YouTube, but when a Black woman does it, we were not prioritizing. We did not have our priorities in order. When we talk about at the age of 26, we should have been maximizing our youth and our fertility to get married and have a husband and family. But it is completely okay for her not to do it. I stand by that. I stand by it completely. I stand by the fact that I felt that she was completely way too comfortable to have to say the things that she said to with Nick Fuentes, and I said it, and I mean that. Racist, I don't know. Ignorant, absolutely. Disrespectful, absolutely. But what I find far more disrespectful is what we've said and done to each other this week. My mom always taught us what goes on in this house stays in this house. And not to show out in front of company. Not to show out in front of company. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Just Pearly Things is company. And we have shown out in front of her. We have shown out to the point that she and others who could give a damn in the larger scheme of things, we've shown out. So when we talk about loyalty, I think it's safe to say that both sides have messed up both sides of that argument. And I will contend, and if I must throw myself in the mix, I will. I will contend, instead of us being fodder, why couldn't we have gotten together offline, even as an individual stream, not necessarily a live stream, but a conference to discuss it among ourselves instead of slinging mud at each other. I'm saddened by it, ladies and gentlemen. I am saddened by it. I'm saddened by it. And at this juncture, it's not even about Pearl anymore. It really isn't. It's not even about Pearl anymore. It's about what we think of ourselves and what we think about each other. I'm saddened by it. Maybe I'm showing my age. I don't know. And I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, the things she said, didn't say, and said, they were bad. But even if we take this week apart, take it out of the equation, there are Black people who've said far worse about us or just as bad about us, and we laugh it off like it's a joke. Yeah. Shout out to K.I. Truth. To me, he said some horrible things about Black women. Horrible. And it's okay. We shuck and jive with that. But it's horrible. And is it that what she said was bad, which I think, yes, I done told you I think it is, or is the fact that she's white and said it? Because as I've looked at this week, and like I said, I'm gonna throw myself in the mix too. I don't know her, I don't know nothing about her, I don't know her content. I know what I saw and I didn't like it. But we have had men call us Black women bitches, hoes, that, we ain't no good, all of it. And he gets a pass for that. I've seen women call our men just atrocious things. Forget the conversation this week. I'm talking about in general. And it's okay when we talk about each other like that. But it's not okay when she said what she said. Like I said, you know what? I don't like it. I think it was disrespectful. I think it was insensitive. And again, as someone who remembers the stories of my ancestors, spoken by my grandfather and uncles. Grandfather born in 1910, his brother, who was the result of my great grandmother being great, born in the mid 1800s. Oh yeah, it ain't funny to me. That's not embellished to me when my great grandfather was forced to deal with it. Why he looked at a child that was not his. But yet, what have we done to ourselves this week? I've been crying. I'm crying. I just got finished watching some of Obsidian. I'm sad. I'm disgusted by it. I am. We think of what we really think of ourselves. What do we think of ourselves? And again, I don't know if she's racist. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know her content. I know what she did, in my opinion, was wrong. And let's go to another thing. I got to get my notes. Y'all know I'm all over the place. Yes, she's 26. But she is a leader, whether she wants to be one or not, because she's a boss. And John Maxwell writes in his books, everything rises and falls on leadership. So yeah, when you are in charge, you're responsible for the good outcomes as well as the bad ones. And we can't, and it's not enough to say my recruiter brought this person on. No, because everything falls and rises and falls on leadership. Because again, if if you're the boss, you're in the leadership position. So you take everything that comes along with it. Everything that comes along with it. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I heard her apology. I heard accountability. I'll say she took accountability. Is she sincere? I don't know. But what I tell you, what I did observe when she was on Obsidian's show, I observed indifference. Indifference. Basically, take it or leave it. I don't care, and that's her right. And to that end, there are people have stated, well, why didn't all these people who had smoked for, why didn't they call an Obsidian show? I wouldn't have called in, and I'm gonna tell you why. Why go into a place where the odds are stacked against you to begin with? Because to me, that would be a trap. I wouldn't have done it. Because even when I watched it, again, Pearl didn't even have to stick up for herself because the other people on the panel were doing it. So I would submit, just as those content creators could have gone on to Obsidian show to talk to Pearl, who has been in everybody's chat. I'm not gonna say everybody's chat, but she's been in some of the chats that I've been in. Could have called into those content creators who had issue with her to explain herself as well. And she chose not to do so for the very same reason that the content creators chose not to call into Obsidian show. The very same reason why she didn't feel comfortable. Didn't mean she was scared. Didn't mean they were scared. That means they didn't feel comfortable. They didn't feel it was an even playing field. I wouldn't have gone either. So I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in us. I'm disappointed in how we've carried ourselves this week. I'm disappointed that we allowed ourselves to misbehave, not I say misbehave, but act crazy in front of company. In front of company. My aunt, who is 80, in that room right there, there's no way in the world, she would have conducted herself, or they would have conducted themselves in such a manner. And not to say that they didn't have disagreements, because again, in the midst of the civil rights movement, in the midst of segregation, people didn't see eye to eye amongst us. But there's no way. There's absolutely no way. Absolutely no way would they have allowed themselves to become fodder for public consumption, ridicule, and hell, just laughter. Ain't nobody pissed me off. Well, I'm not pissed off. I'm disappointed. And like I said, if I need to throw myself in, I will. And when we talk about we got to do better, that means for everybody, not just a certain number, not just a chosen few. And I mean, still, okay, hold on. Okay, genuine question. Is there an expectation that the Black manosphere should be more pro-Black versus red pill? Explain to me what red pill is, because in my understanding, what red pill is to see things as they are, not as we desire them to be. And I'm gonna say this: as a Black woman, mother of a Black child, grandmother of Black children, boys and girls, I'm pro-Black, but I'm also pro-right, no matter who it's coming from. No matter who it's coming from. And when Black people are wrong, I don't say if you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't give a damn what color you are. Am I for the betterment of my people? Absolutely, because I'm a mother of of grandchildren, boys and girls. Absolutely. But I am not one that thinks because I'm Black, I should just co-sign on bullshit. I absolutely do not. Absolutely do not. I absolutely do not. I do believe in loyalty, though. Loyalty on both sides. And loyalty means not necessarily co-signing, but in holding people accountable. But again, don't act up in front of company. Don't act up in front of company. I'm not saying that on both sides of the argument concerning Pearl that they're not valid points. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, we have been at each other's throat all week, but over a person, what she said, didn't say, what she allowed, didn't allow. And guess what? She's going about her merry business while we making ourselves look like fucking fools. It's just like in history said, we don't have to do nothing. Let's let them destroy themselves. I'm sad. Like I said, I didn't cry. And again, I didn't cry this week. And I said, I'm just, my mind was just blown. And again, I'm glad that I've been busy to a degree, moving my aunt from Tennessee here, because I probably would have been on more shows. But hold on. And this is the Black manosphere, a pro-Black male space that isn't pro. And I'm gonna say something. I mean, to be honest, the Black manosphere, from what I've seen, largely is not necessarily. It's about anti-Black women. That's in my opinion. My opinion. You don't have to agree. That's because I ain't seen nothing that talks about real solutions, real success stories, real how I got over. I ain't seen none of that. Not now. I done seen a whole bunch of what's wrong. How jacked up Black men are, how jacked up Black women are, how either ain't shit. I ain't seen not nary one show, well, this is what I did to get over, to get what I wanted. Other than me, of course. Other than me, of course. Because I tell y'all what I did wrong, and how had I got my mind right, I wouldn't be Mrs. Randolph, you heard? But so what saddens me, amongst other things, and again, I guess I'm a dinosaur, I'll take that, is that all it amounts to is how much money I can get at the exploitation of ourselves. in front of company. In front of company. In, in front of company. Let me see what else I got here in my notes. Let me see what I got in my notes. Okay. And again, I'm going to reiterate, it's not even about different points of view. It's not about that. Because me and my husband have had some very spirited discussions concerning viewpoints, politics. Again, people wondered how we were going to get together and stay together, being that he was a staunch conservative and I was more liberal, I guess moderate. People were like, oh, it ain't going to work. It worked because we had rules. We had rules. We were not going to let anybody from the outside determine what was going on the inside. We done broke the rules. We done broke the rules. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I want to hear from you if you don't mind. If you want to join me, I'm gonna give it a few minutes, and if not, I'm gonna end it. But I want to hear from you. I think, and here's another thing. People have suggested that the criticisms that women have had concerning Pearl is because they're jealous. Well, I submit to you that's the go-to answer for everything, that if you have a criticism of someone. Why can't it be you just don't like it? Why does it have to be jealousy? I think that's the easy way out. I think it's the easy way out. Yeah, I would prefer you to cam up, or at least show me your face behind on the back screen, and then I will determine. Because again, I'm not playing no games with y'all. But why can't it be you just don't like it, or you don't like it? Why it got to be jealousy? Hey, Mr. Bennett. I've been trying to. T-Shaw, you had a good question. How can we change this? Well, the simple answer would be that when we have disagreements amongst ourselves, that we get each other, we pull our collars to each other offline and have a meeting of the minds. And then once we come to the meeting of the minds, then we present a united front, even if we don't agree with everything. Because we have our right to our individual perspectives. But when we go in front of company, when we present ourselves to the world, we act like. Because here's the thing, I'm going to tell you something. I have a younger sister. I see you in back. Thank you. I have a younger sister. And I will be, sibling rivalry, all that kind of stuff. And I would say stuff about her, but I'd be damned if I let anybody else do it. And me and my sister had huge differences, huge arguments. But I'd be damned when I was in front of company. I defended my sister. You ain't gonna talk about my sister in front of me. You ain't gonna talk about my sister in front of me. Hello, sir.
How you doing, my sister? Well, I'll just speak from experience. I was married for 48, 49 years until my wife died of cancer. I took care of her the last 6 years of her life. We were truly in love with each other, and we were tight. She was a beautiful black woman. And in 1972, I just asked her hand in marriage. She was many years older than I was. She died of 77 years of age, the same age that her mother died. Please excuse my background. I'm trying to figure out how to, well, I'm going through our things. We're throwing a lot of things out, keeping the memories that are important. And it's now been going on 3 years. I am seeking a new love, and it would be nice to have another relationship new again. So I just want to put in my 2 cents for it. I'm a strong proponent of black on black love and togetherness and respect. And my wife and I were in the Nation of Islam, not with Farrakhan, or with Elijah Muhammad's blood brother, Supreme Minister John Muhammad, you know, and wish I could show you the pictures of her. I'm just trying to figure out how to use this. Any questions would you like to ask me?
No, well, what do you think about what you have seen this past week from our brothers and sisters? What are your thoughts?
It looks like we're falling apart, and looks like we're at each other. I mean, YouTube channels, black men attacking black women, and vice versa. You have the Cynthia G's on one side, and then you have Minister Jap on the other side, and you just have a lot of this fighting going on. And instead of, I don't see, where's the unity and the love? For that, yeah, you see what I'm saying. I don't see that happening. We're doomed. I think we're doomed as a people.
And that is why I have had tears in my eyes.
Me too.
I have literally had tears in my eyes, you know, listening from the clouds, because at this point, it's not even about Pearl anymore.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to conclude and then let somebody else make a comment. I see the homelessness in Los Angeles County, for example. And guess who's homeless? It's black people. We are homeless. We're the ones. Black women, black men, black families. We're on the streets, dying. Right now, this is going on. I'll conclude by saying that. I'll mute my mic and allow somebody else to talk. And I thank you so very much.
You're welcome. How you doing, Mr. Evans? How you doing, sir? Okay. Anybody else that wants to come up and share what they thought?
I'm sorry.
You know, and
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
How you doing? Sorry, I'm at work, so I'm kind of multitasking, but off right now. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this whole Pearly thing situation. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I see what everyone is saying on this side. Like, yes, she messed up, and yes, she could have done this and that better, and that's fine. Now, on the other side, it's like, okay, yes, there might be some cooning and some other ish on that side, but at the same time, it's like, yo, y'all taking it too far. So I see on all sides, it's taking it too far, and it's like, you know what? All right, I understand what she did was wrong, and I get it. And it might, in some way, it could be or possibly true that she could have showed her hand, but at the same time, like, yo, enough is enough. And I agree the OG what he said, and he made a great point saying that it's making us look bad, and it's like, wow. And I had to think about this. I'm like, damn, are we really that lost? Like,
And we are.
Yeah. And we are. Like, Yeah. Like I
You
said, like
breaking
I
up.
don't want to say no one. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I see a few points here and there from other people about her, but at the same time, there's a lot of things to be talking about besides her.
And like I said, at this point, from where I sit, it's not even about Pearl anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It just isn't, because she said what she said. You know, the apology or whatever. But what it's about now is how we are responding to each other based on what we think about what she said and did.
Yeah.
I
How do
mean,
you?
that
How?
is. Go ahead.
Oh, my fault. My fault. I'm gonna let you finish. My fault.
Go ahead.
Well, since you said that, how do you feel with the people? All right, like you heard of what like Danica Marie, right?
Yes.
Okay, Danica Marie and says that God is on our homegirl Courtney and
Yeah.
River and all them, right? Like, how do you feel what they were saying compared to what other people were saying? Like, do you feel like they went too far? Was it valid points here and there, or because I
Well,
see.
I'm gonna say this with respect to the when Courtney first did her expose. Excellent, and I stand by it. I stand in complete agreement with what she uncovered. I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In my position, but again, it just wasn't about exposing her. It was
Right.
about giving context as far as our historical so our history. But now it shifted from giving a historical context and appreciation for us as a people to now we are throwing mud at each other because we don't agree with because what each side thinks of what she said and did or didn't do, because we don't agree, we're talking about each other.
Yeah, I agree.
So
yeah.
we're talking about each other.
Yeah, like I'm. You know what? And I'm glad you said that, because being in these spaces, well, not being in these spaces, but watching these spaces for a minute, and someone has an opinion, or where we can have an agreement or agree or disagreement, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? Some things you're gonna have to let it sit for a while, and sometimes you know what, he or she has a point. But the attacking each other and degrading one another and throwing mud on their name, whether it's true or not, it's
And to be honest, I haven't watched enough of. I watched some of Six the Goddess and Danica Marie's response to. I haven't watched it in depth. I will say that. And I'm not saying that they don't have a right to be upset about what.
right. Like you can't tell people how to react when they're upset. So yeah.
Because I was upset. I was offended by it. Like I said, because I'm old enough to remember the stories of my grandparents and remember the uncle that was born out of that situation. So I was offended by that. You understand me? So, and I was offended by the fact that she chose to have this, not only to have this, to say these things in front of the white supremacists.
But she ain't had nobody to combat what he was saying.
And she didn't push back herself. So I'm not saying I don't understand where the women are coming from, because I do. But why now did it shift from what she said or didn't say, did or didn't do? Why has it shifted to us attacking each other? That is the part I am concerned about. Us attacking each other because we don't agree with the stance of the other. That's what really hurt me. That's what hurt me. Yes, Mr. Allah, and then I'll get you in, Mr. Bennett. What you got, Mr. Allah?
Yes, sir. I think this is an extension of what I call slavery, suffering, and death continuing. It's an extension from that. It's the after effects of slavery. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, sir. Okay. what happens when you bring in and that's what happens when we show out in front of company. When we show out in front of company. Go ahead, because you're right, Courtney. Like I said, I support completely what you did in the expose, but now it's not even about Pearl anymore. It's about what we're doing to each other. What you got, Mr. Bennett?
Well, first of all, good afternoon. I just want to say hello. I haven't been on your platform in a while, and just want to say hello. Just also, my wife and I, we just celebrated our 26th anniversary yesterday, so we just
congratulations, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And so this is season 27. The way I like to pose it. This is season 27. It's just getting underway. So just like with the NFL. We're in the preseason. We're going into the draft, and we're just getting ready for the season's upcoming. So just getting ready for that. But I just wanted to, come by to say hello to you. And just as far as the issue, I admit I wasn't as much in on the issue. I did see a segment early in the week from Information Man. I think he gave a lot of insight on this. I've heard about this woman, but I didn't know much about her. I never patronized her product. But I think what we're seeing here, and I think it's already been alluded to, I think what we're seeing here is sort of like the wedge that in ideas or philosophy that's happened. In the 70s, there was like a unified body of how we moved and operated as Black people. But I think recently, as more and more people have embraced more conservative ideology, more capitalistic ideology. So now this idea of this sort of the idea of rugged individualism. And certainly I think a lot of people used her because of her popularity and certainly the fact that she co-signed on a lot of their talking points. I think, that certainly helped to further their aims and goals, but it wasn't necessarily about the unify. So you see those more conservative voices out there, especially from a lot of the brothers who embrace her content or a lot of these more conservative ideals. You're starting to see that wedge. So all she did is simply just magnify what was already there. And I think you had a lot of people who took advantage of the platform and her, the way how rapidly she rose in popularity. I mean, you talk about, Kevin Samuels, how big he got in a short period of time. It seemed like her track to the top might have been even faster than his. And people just wanted to leverage that versus sort of seeing it for what it was. So I think that's what's been happening. And I don't think this is new, but I think it's been amplified. So which is the backlash that we're seeing has been amplified with, through this latest incident. And it just shows the divides that have been there for some time, but it's just started to come out. But since the 90s, you have a lot more guys who have, more conservative mindset, not looking at the collective and just like, look, I'm gonna get mine, you get yours. And, by any means necessary that we get that. I think that's where we're at right now. So that's the way I'm seeing it.
And to that point, that's another thing that saddens me, because again, it's like, we can be bought off.
Mm-hmm.
Our commitment to one another means is dependent on, whether or not it's in our financial best interest. And for me, people have been talking about, this is a business, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not here for that. Yeah. If I make some coins, that's cute. That's cute. It helps me, take my granddaughters and get the nail done. That's cute, but I'm not here for that.
Right. Absolutely. But that's, like I said, that's always been the trade-off. I mean, you had, I remember this brother Bill wrote this book some years ago talking about the $40 million slave. And he was talking about these athletes, how, again, if you go back to the 60s, remember the summit where it was Muhammad Ali. This is after Muhammad Ali was stripped of his boxing license because he wouldn't go into the draft. You had all those brothers. So you had Jim Brown there. You had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all these athletes. And there was like this collective. But again, once you started to get, into the 70s, into the 80s, guys started making a lot of money. But what that money says, okay, well, stop being so socially active. So we had this thing in the 80s and 90s where, again, Michael Jordan was like, well, Republicans buy sneakers too. So he was like, so a lot of the, political positions that a lot of people took on, they basically traded that to have the money and the influence more so than sticking up. And then in recent years, you've had like LeBron James who, started to speak up, especially after Trayvon Martin was killed. Again, you start to see this rise in activism and guys starting to speak out and use their platforms for this social good. So again, I'm just saying there's always been this trade-off. Are you here to build the community? Are you here for the conscience, or
Yes.
are you there to make money? Are you there to capitalize on what you have? So that's always been a trade-off. And I think in these times now, especially with these platforms like YouTube, where there's opportunities to make money that weren't there prior. It's even exacerbated. It's like, I got a choice to make here. Do I go for maximum subscribers, or how I build my subscriber base, or do I want to just put out quality content? Whether I got 2,000 subscribers or 200,000 subscribers, I'm just gonna keep it authentic and be myself. I think that's the trade-off, and I think it's definitely exposing where a lot of people are in terms of that reality. So, and especially once you start getting the check, you'll fight harder to keep the check once you get it, rather than the grind to kind of build up to it. So I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of the pushback from certain individuals who are maybe defending her, or want to give her a pass for some of these transgressions. But again, it's it just shows again where a lot of us are, and but again, for those who are still going to be about the conscious content and just looking to build and edify the community, I think that even in that can't be a detractor to what it is that they're trying to put out. So
hold on just a minute, please.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Not a problem.
Our dog is having surgery today,
Oh, no.
and I need him to, don't look at me like that, Marcus. Our dog is having surgery today, so the vet was calling me to let me know the status. So I was asking Mr. Randolph to check on that.
I heard that. Hopefully it goes well. But again, I can't stay long. I just want to jump on again. I saw you came up on my phone. I just want to chime in a little bit, but just glad to see you doing well. Hope you and your husband's doing well, and just keep doing what you're doing. And I just admire you and the content that you're bringing out. So you always have a fan here.
Well, thank you, and happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. Take care. God bless.
Bye. Nicole put something here that's really said we need to take back our image. There needs to be guidelines across the board on how we interact online with Black men and Black women. We cannot have progress. We cannot have progress constantly berated. That's it. That's it.
I agree.
That's
Nothing.
it.
I agree.
That's it. Like I said, and Courtney said something here too. Let me pull it up.
I agree too.
Being in business doesn't mean you forfeit your integrity. And again, that's another thing. I have to live with myself. So yeah, that means I still keep hovering at 1,700, subscribers. But guess what? Everything I put out is from my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's from my heart. That's why I'm here. Like I said, if I make some money, that's cute. Thank you. I appreciate you. But that ain't why I'm here. And I'm grateful I made my money before I came to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm comfortable. But again, when I talk about helping my people, I don't want to just talk about what's wrong with us. I don't want to talk about that. How can we get it right? Are we having those conversations about people putting stuff into practice to get it right? I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I know this foolishness sells. But what is your soul worth?
Damn.
What is your soul worth?
That's a bar.
I think you nailed it.
That was a bar.
You nailed it right on the head. Right?
And taking back our image is not just berating ourselves, but also how do we show up?
And that was Kevin Samuel's thing, like for us to take back our image, like
How do we show up? Are we having full on curse shows? Shout out to Eddie Murphy when he said, when he was talking about Bill Cosby and his stand-up, he said, I just didn't give a curse, y'all. Kiss my ass, suck my dick, fuck, good night. No. Are we having some real conversations? Not yelling at each other. Not cursing each other out. Now I can cuss. I can get what you.
We're good at that.
Yeah.
But that's our image too.
We're good at division, not in the unity.
Do you see that people are laughing at us?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look at these niggas right here.
And I'm not okay with it.
Will slapping that man.
Okay with it. Huh?
Will slapping that other man. Remember that? That was the
yeah, man. Yeah.
Joke.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
We're berating each other. We are exploiting one another for likes, views, clicks, super chats, all of that. Hold on just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
He's recovering well. Don't look at. Yes, my dog went to surgery. He's recovering well.
I was giving you hair. I was like this. I was like this.
I'm not going to stay long. I just, hold on a minute. Shout out. Hey, Alan. Thanks for coming up. What you got?
Hey, TJ, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Hold on 1 second. There's an echo on my end. Let me turn it off. All right, perfect. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. First of all, shout out to you. This has been a phenomenal stream so far. I shared it on my community tab. You're one of the women in this space that I actually admire, that are actually genuine and speaking from a place of actually trying to improve things and speaking to women. So shout out to you. Basically, this is what I'll say. So, I started my channel in 2021. And in 2021, I was 28, if not 27, 28.
Okay.
And, my channel is kind of consists of myself interviewing Black men, Black women, and trying to reach some kind of understanding amongst ourselves, and more than the understanding, just demonstrating to the world that we can talk to each other, not talk at each other, but talk to each other. And it's been incredible for me to see how many people are more interested in exploiting our dialogue for entertainment as opposed to for progress. Right? When I learned about the manosphere and came into the Black manosphere, it was surprising to me to find out that a space that calls itself Black Manosphere is anti-pro-Black. And nobody has been able to explain that to me. How do you claim to make the distinction of Black Manosphere because the original Manosphere was not accommodating of your Blackness, but every chance you get to divorce yourself of your Blackness, you take it. And that's why people like Obsidian are a joke to me. That's why a lot of these middle-aged men who are old enough to be my father being fooled by a 26-year-old white girl is a joke to me. Because again, to your point, she didn't even lie. She said I came in explicitly for entertainment purposes. I would think that anybody who's been alive on the planet for more than 20 years would connect the dots and say, oh, she thinks Black people are entertainment. It shouldn't take the business doing a video about, how she's racist for people to be able to see this. In 2022, she reviewed one of my videos with, what's his name? Sharp? Something Sharp.
Cyrock, right?
No. Something Sharp. D Sharp.
Donovan Sharp? Was it Donovan Sharp?
Yeah. Donovan Sharp. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So it was Donovan Sharp. It was Just Pearly Things before anybody knew who she was, and it was Femme Sapien. And what's ironic is before that happened, somebody asked me, "Hey, why don't you send some of this footage to Donovan Sharp to review?" I was like, "Donovan Sharp is married to a white woman. I don't understand why he would care about my content. And I don't understand what productive thing that he would be able to contribute to the conversation that I'm having here. And for him to invite two non-black women to critique an interview with a black woman speaks to where this conversation is online. And unfortunately, the way that I've seen black men, again, black men who are twice my age, jump to defend this woman, jump to defend, and let's put the racism to the side because, again, for me, I think whether or not she's racist is inconsequential. But the fact that we think we are a joke, we are so much of a joke that we allow any and everybody to come into our spaces, use and abuse us. And it's only until their racism or perceived racism is super like overt that now, oh, we need an apology. That's an insult to our intelligence. And I just want to tell everybody who's listening to this, if it wasn't clear to you before last week that somebody like a Just Pearly Things doesn't care about black people, you're not paying attention. And for me personally, I would like for those people to unsubscribe from my channel because
Alan, you broke up. You broke up. You said because of what? You broke up.
no, I said I want people to unsubscribe from my channel because I want people who are intelligent. I want people who are conscious. I want people who are solutions oriented. And I want people who are optimistic about the reconciliation of black men and black women. I don't want any Mandingo fighters. I don't want anybody who gets off on antagonistic discourse. I don't want anybody who thinks that black people are only as good as their entertainment value. So yeah, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, and you're subscribed to me, and you're subscribed to some of the other Mandingo fighters on YouTube, please unsubscribe from me. That's
And
all I have to say.
and to that point, you're absolutely right. The reason, in my opinion, that people like Miss Pearly Things feels comfortable with us as entertainment is because we have done it to each other. And we've done it to each other in the presence of company. In the presence of company. And like you said, Alan, whether she's racist or not is inconsequential. What she said, again, ignorance or not, speaks to what she believed about black people. Because again, don't, in my opinion, in her apology or something, she said she wasn't qualified to say whatever she said. Then why did you say it? Why did you engage in the conversation if you knew you weren't qualified to have it? In my opinion.
And this is what I want to add to because I still
Alan, you breaking up? Alan?
we've been talking. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
I can hear you now. You said yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, let me move because I think the signal might be bad. Yeah, so like I said, I think most black men are missing the point because the past few weeks we've been talking about AI, right? And one of the things that Chat GPT and different models have been able to do is replicate not just black voices but also black creativity. So if we continue to rely on our dysfunction being entertainment, at some point we're going to be obsolete because now Universal or another record label is going to sign an AI artist, which has already happened. So all this buck dancing and all this Mandingo fighting that we are making money off of on the internet, at some point we're going to be out of a job. So if we are not emphasizing like Black intellectualism, Black cooperation, just like Just Pearly Things left this conversation to have the white supremacist conversation, at some point, this whole thing will no longer be lucrative. So we have to think about what's going to be sustainable long term for our community, and our cooperation is the only thing that's going to be sustainable. But a lot of people would rather just watch online Bad Girls Club.
And here's another thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but I put on my community tab. I don't go in with the passport bros, whatever. Get love where you find is where I said. But somebody put that a non-melanated person, has just trademarked passport bros. Now, if that is true,
Yeah.
if that is true, once again, we played ourselves and somebody else is reaping the benefit of our work. If that is true.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we are playing checkers, and everybody else is playing, three-dimensional chess. And unfortunately, like I said, like I'm 20, I'm not even 30 yet, and it's clear as day for me to see this. And the fact that I'm seeing so many of my elders, I'm Nigerian, so like in my culture, a lot of these dudes, I should be calling them uncle, but like the level of ignorance, the how easily kind of, and then I was watching Lead Attorney yesterday talk about how many Black people she's helped, how many Black people she's employed. And it's like, as an older man, you still think Black exceptionalism is our way out of subjugation? You still think one Black person rising up out of a million of us is the way out? Right? And it's like, I thought that we had progressed in some of this conversation, but like when I watch some of these creators, some of these entertainers, some of these Bad Girls Club producers, I'm like, yo, we have to be better than this.
I'm going to go there, and I don't know. Y'all can let me know. How many Black people did Kevin employ with his 1 point something million subscribers? If we're going to talk about it. Somebody tell me.
I'm pretty sure he had, but I don't think he talks about it though.
So I think, my point is this: if any of these content creators that people are throwing mud at were at a level where at a Miss Pearly things, I'm sure they would, because you have the resources to do so. So I don't think that is a valid argument, in my opinion.
And
she has the resources to do so.
And I think that argument is equivalent to, I'm not racist because I have Black friends. or I'm not racist because I'm married to a Black person. When in reality, some of the most racist people have Black friends, quote unquote. Some of the most racist people are married to Black people, right? Like I saw something the other day talking about how the reason some white women have a preference for Black men is because Black men are easier to manipulate. Black men are more accommodating of BS. And this Just Pearly Things is a perfect example of that. Like, we'll see some Black men date white women that white men don't even like. The ones that white men aren't even attracted to. And in this case, the white manosphere doesn't even like Just Pearly Things. They were the first ones to say, why is this 24, 25-year-old white girl talking about all this shit that she doesn't really understand and isn't living any of it? But she come over on this side just like a 300-pound white woman, and we embrace her. We think she's the best thing since sliced bread. And then we wonder why the divestment community thinks we're a joke. We wonder why nobody takes us seriously. It's because of it. When I see a white man with a Black woman, he's got the top of the line Black woman. But when I see a brother,
the ugliest. Trash, bro. I'm like, you got this.
There's some truth to that.
Yes.
I will say though, to your point about the older people that we've seen, and I count myself in them. I'll be 56. I have been sorely disappointed by the words that have come out of these senior people's mouths, particularly men. Now, if there's a senior woman and I say elder woman such as myself, please let me know. But again, is this the example that we're teaching our younger people? You know, I heard Obsidian say that Pearly Things could be his daughter, and I guess she could be mine too. But in my mind, I'm thinking, so are some of these young women that you call them bitches and hoes. They look like you. And I'm like, what?
That statement right there proves how white identified we are as a people. Because when that racist white cop looks at me when he pulls me over, he doesn't think I could be his son.
Yes.
He thinks I could be a suspect. He thinks, do I fit the bill for one of the warrants that he has open for arrest? But we are so accommodating. We are so easy to identify ourselves with whoever. And no matter how many people that Just Pearly Things influence, just like she said, my Africans, she thinks we're her property. She thinks we're a joke. She thinks we're entertainment. And this week, we have lived up to everything that she thought and thinks we are.
And that is why I say at this juncture, it's not even about Pearly. It's not even about Pearl at this point. It just isn't. It's about what we allowed to come into our home, and we allowed ourselves to act a fool in front of company. So they can say, look, because see, they've gone on about their merry way to vacation. She's gone on vacation or whatever, while we're still here fighting. The hell? What? And I said, like I just said, my aunt is in the next room, about to be 80 years old. She'll be 80 years old this year. There's no way they would have allowed what's going on amongst us, even when we didn't agree. Even when we didn't agree. Because shout out to Lucky Marie, we were talking earlier, she said, had something like that happened, if we were talking about each other like that in the Black Panthers or whatever, somebody would have paid a reckoning for that.
Mm-hmm.
You keep that crap on the inside. You do not do it in front of company. How dare you? But we have so little pride in ourselves.
This is the last thing that I'll say. Part of the reason why I think we as a community are perceived as a joke is because we are far too reactionary. It's very easy, like thinking about it from a white person's perspective, it's very easy to rile up the blacks. You just have to say this thing or do that thing or move in this way, and you'll rile up the blacks because, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the blacks have enough foresight to establish and distinguish paradigms before things happen. Just like with Pearly Things, it took this for people to say, "Oh, maybe she's racist." And I bring that up to say that part of that, I think, is for us to move past the witch hunt of individual racism and move towards the macro economic and structural racism that is actually what we deal with. Because to your point again, TJ, it is inconsequential what is in Just Pearly Things' heart. It is inconsequential what is in your racist neighbor Jim's heart. But what matters is what's in the systems. And the longer that we get triggered and get riled up by whether or not so-and-so is racist, the longer we will continue to deviate our attention away from the actual issues. And I'm hoping that this particular occurrence wakes us up to understand that we are fighting systems and structures and economics. We are not fighting 26-year-old white girls, because they are a consequence of systems and so even if She likes white people. I mean, she likes black people. She has been programmed to believe that she is superior. She has been programmed to believe that she is superior. And that is the paradigm that we need to operate under. So we need to think about ways that we can build as opposed to trying to distinguish between who the good white people are and who the bad white people are. But
And I'm going to say this real quick. So somebody asked Pearl is racist. I don't know if she is or not. I will contend that sometimes you can be racist and not know that you are.
come on now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that because, again, this house that me and Mr. Randolph bought, we bought from a friend of mine who I call my Caucasian sister. Love her dearly. She loves me dearly. But has she said some things that I'm like could be perceived as racist? Yes. And guess what I did? I checked her on it. Again, because see, I checked her on it and she responded in kind because I do know her. I do know her heart. But you can still say stupid stuff and you can say racist things and not realize that it is. Because see, we look at things differently because we have our experience is different. So I'm not going to say whether I don't know. But
Hey,
I
but
know
TJ, I
what.
got a slide. I just wanted to pop in real quick and tell you some love. Thank you so much. Keep doing your thing. And we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay, what you got, Mr. Afro Disciple 88?
How's it going? I was just enjoying the conversation. It's been very interesting to hear just the ideas that are circulating here around just even things that we need to do as a community. I just think like the whole thing when we're kind of addressing this whole Pearly things situation, when we talk about how we got here, it's very funny to me that we focus so heavily on this one individual being able to capitalize off of it, because usually the way it sounds to me as someone who's an avid listener of all these content creators is that there's a lot of jealousy going on. Like, how was she able to take advantage of our community and make all this money? Because there's other people doing content like this that no one talks about or cares about, even Black people ourselves. Like, Lapeef Network is just like her nonsense. Daily Wrap Up crew makes up the same things just like her nonsense. And we don't do this thing of how are they able to make money off of our dysfunction? We don't care about that. So why is it only in this particular context that everybody is so upset? Is it because the person who's doing it doesn't look like us, so it's not okay? But when they do look like us and they're capitalizing, the dysfunction's all right.
Well, I will say a couple of things. Like I said earlier, I don't think it's always necessarily jealousy because you don't like something or you criticize something. I don't think it's necessarily that. You just may think it's not right. It doesn't mean you're jealous of it. But I will agree with you that we are exploiting ourselves and making money, but not as much as her. But I think one of the issues is that not necessarily that she is making the money, but the system, like what Alan was just speaking of, and I mean the system being YouTube, promoted her with the same type of content, promoted her at a level far beyond us. And now she is able to capitalize on our dysfunction on a greater scale.
Why do you think that is, though? I mean, do you think it's strictly because she's white? Because as someone who views all this content, I think I'm just looking for differences. Like, my ultimate goal in life and what I care about most is I want to see Black people win. So when I look at situations, I'm like, how is this person doing it? And how are they making it happen? What are the differences here? So when I look at her content, she has better lighting. She has better production value. She has tangible things that I can look at. It's like, well, why are these other people not doing the same thing? Why are we still doing Zoom style talk shows like we're still back in 2020 when she's rented out a place, put up lighting, got guests? She's doing guest shows. She's not doing, these Zoom call type of shows, which makes for people to want to watch more. And I'm not saying they would get the same exact amount of viewership or subscribers, but can we start there? Can we look at the differences there and say, why is this not happening?
I think that's reasonable. I think that is reasonable.
But
I will say, in addition to that, though, there are those, I think, like Anthony something, I think ABL, the conservative guy, and also Willie D. Yeah. He sits with a white backdrop, talk in his freaking t-shirt with no high level production, and his stuff is, he has a large following too. I think a lot of it, I think both can be true. I think also based on, shout out to Courtney Michelle, what she did when she showed the example of another YouTuber who has millions of subscribers, how he noticed how his stuff was being shadow banned.
Oh yeah, that happens. You're right.
So again, that is part of when yours is being pushed in the algorithm, that makes a difference because it's being pushed. That means more exposure.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I'm just saying the disparity is so large. That's what I keep thinking about. It's like, all right, there's someone else who's doing the same kind of content because there's nothing new. I mean, that's the one thing that everyone keeps saying, which is very true. There's nothing different about the content she's putting out there. All her content is gender-based. Why don't men and women get along? I don't understand the racial component that everyone keeps talking about, other than the fact that the people that she has as guests are Black women who, by the way, do this because of her subscribership, do it so that they can get more subscribers on their Instagram. They're doing it as a way to boast of themselves. So it's not.
That's why I said, what is your soul worth? That's why I said, what is your soul worth? Because see, this is true. Just like Black women called into Kevin Samuels, these women choose to be on her show. Mm-hmm. So it begs the question, though, when you're recruiting, are you only recruiting Black women to come on your show? Because there's some white ones out there that's just as dysfunctional.
They end up on her show. Have you watched
the Yeah, she has some that going on. My fault. Go ahead. My fault.
No, you said she has some white people, some white women on there too?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. So, I think in many instances we allow ourselves to be exploited. And like I said, my soul ain't for sale. There's some things I'm just not gonna do. Like I said, I've been hovering, hit the like button, like my video. I've been hovering around 1,700 subscribers. And could I get more? If I put in more work, probably. But I'm retired and I don't feel like working that hard. But what I'm putting out, whatever I put out, I'm putting out from my heart. And if I make a few dollars, that's cute. And thank you very much. And I spend it on my grandchildren. But that's not why I'm here.
But then what do we say?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, well, then what do we say to the people who are here for that? Because if we actually are honest with ourselves, YouTube is a business. No one's actually doing any of this for free, right? Everyone's doing it with the intention to capitalize off of this. Even We Need to Talk, even Courtney Michelle, even everybody is doing this not for free. I get that and I frequently donate to We Need to Talk because I believe in the mission that they're doing over there, right? But it's like, but we can't pretend that everyone's not in this for monetary gain. Now, right. The issue is that she figured out a lane in order to make more money than other people. I can't hate on her for that because that's the game. That's the game that we all chose to participate in if you're going to be a content creator. So as if that's the case, if the issue is I can't be as popular as her because there's nothing about her content that's any different than everybody else in the space. That's the thing I keep thinking about. I listen to the content. She just sits there, sits back, asks questions, and let people go at it. That's her whole thing. She's not proselytizing or any of that. Like, I mean, this recent thing that, destroyed her whole, well, I don't want to say destroyed her whole career because I unsubscribed as soon as I saw that. But like that one situation I think is a deviation from what she actually does on a regular basis. So again, if the issue is how can we do better or have the same opportunities, why can't we just copy and paste this shit? That's what I keep thinking, like just copy and paste, do the same thing, and maybe we'll have better success.
Well, I think people are copying and pasting. And again, I'm not saying I don't understand both sides of the argument. I think when I think about being a woman, a Black woman, one would be considered a baby mama because I had my daughter out of wedlock and raised her primarily as a single mom. I think I take exception when she says things like, to all you women that I'm paraphrasing. I'm glad, thank you, because I don't have to sell copiers anymore, because I can make a living talking about you.
Rappers,
Huh?
rappers can say, Cardi B can say the same thing.
It's
Like,
true.
Like all
And I
these.
don't like that either. I don't like it either.
Fair enough. Yeah. I
I don't like it either. Because again, you're using our dysfunction as fodder, but a part of it is our fault. Because you can't talk about something that's not there.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
What do you got, Mr. Seattle Black Veteran? Thank you for your service. I can't hear you, sir. You're muted.
How about now? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I apologize for that. I think everyone's making a valid point. Honestly, I dip and dive in and out of these YouTube streets, and I'm like you, my dear lady. This is not a hustle for me. I don't knock those who are doing the hustling. That's what they want to do, and they get the traction for doing that. My channel is, like I say, I try to help Black veterans out because we've been redlined for so long. And so the question, just like this young brother's saying here, I lived around people who have come from India, got there owning gas stations, owning the cathedrals are all big and everything. But here we are as a Black people, period. And we haven't got our act together to get our own stuff off the ground, if we can move positive. And honestly, I never really heard of this lady. I've heard of her before. I never dove into her a lot. And I come back onto the YouTube streets and boom, everybody's up in arms about this particular lady. And to me, to me in my life, and bless her heart, and I ain't knocking for what she do, but it's like the price of tea in China. What's it have to do with my life? I got to do things. Like I say, I got I got 90 videos of helping out veterans, and I have 400 and something subscribers. That's because I think I'm not on the grind 24/7 with this, and I don't mind those people too. But if we want to take it more, let's take it to another level. Let's take it outside of her, and let's look at these fake housewives of this, fake basketball wives of that. This is how we are representing ourselves. To me, it's as much as like an embarrassing, like Will Smith when he hit Chris Rock. This is going all over the country, and all these people are seeing how we always tell ourselves now that we're mature: think, then act. Just don't react. So what are we doing? We're spending this precious oxygen that God gave us in our bodies, and we're spending it reacting to a woman who, my thing is, and you guys who are mature can understand this. If you ain't in my bed and you ain't paying no bills, I can make a decision if I want to listen to you or not. What did Dave Chappelle said? If you're a white supremacist, you're not going to know who Jesse Smollett is. You're not going to know what Empire is. You're not going to even care if he's gay or not. You're not watching this show. You're watching something. And I agree with you. If we get up in arms and fight over, let's go back here. Back in the day when they were having the sit-ins at Woolworths, and brothers is getting abused and pulled out of there. Why haven't we got our own Woolworths? Why haven't we got our own? But we will have a lot of people because, like you say, they'll come on for the grind, for their hustle, and they want that bag. And they will sacrifice their integrity. I used to come on here a lot. Now I pick and choose when I come on because it's just information, and it's been proven. Giving information out here, you will not get traction enough. You got to have a little drama going on.
Right.
And so I stepped into one sister's chat room, and me and her was cool, but she had this one brother, young brother, decides he wants to start cursing me. You millennials, you baby boomers ain't nothing. I ain't never did nothing, blah, 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 blah. And she's allowing this to go on. Now, I never go back to the lady's channel. I respect her, but this is what we do to each other. And I think one of the brothers was saying this earlier, and he was saying, we do this to each other. And I don't care. Okay, so I don't know much about this young lady, but I don't care if she's a full-blown racist or not. It has nothing to do with my world. Me as a Black man, I'm out here trying to get information to help other Black men. And I see more black men and black women on the channels that can bring up this drama. But hey, that's how you roll. I seen a guy go from 200 subs to 3,000 within a month because he got the slamming on this one other brother on the channel. People didn't like the guy either, so they started piling on. And so what? What does this do to us? What does it say about us? People overseas see us on this television. People overseas are watching us on this YouTube. And then looking at, this is why in America, all these Vietnamese and Thailand people own all the nail shops. Because what we're concerned about, we want to look beautiful and beautiful. At the same time, we're not doing nothing with this underneath the skull cap that we have. I believe 3 forces, spiritually, mentally, and physical. Balance those out. Spiritually, whatever you line up to, keep your body in shape. Because as you get old is not for the feeble-minded. There's pain that comes with that, right? And then you got to feed your brain, but you got to be careful what creeps into your brain. And this is the problem is, back in my day, we didn't want to read. Now that we can read, we'd rather go to YouTube and listen to the drama. And we want to pile on to the drama. But at the end of the day, is that drama paying your bills?
And that's the point. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, please go ahead.
If I don't say it, I forget. That is why one of the reasons my heart was so heavy this week. You know, like I said, I was moving my aunt me and my husband moved my aunt from Tennessee to Texas here to be with us. And I was in and out listening to the different things. And it really hurt my heart to hear us just malign one another. It hurt my heart ached. And I'm sure some people going, make clip. I don't give up behind. But because I care.
Yeah.
And even if I don't agree with everything you say, even if I don't agree with your perspective, the fact that we are going at each other like this, it broke my heart. Because like I said, it's not even about Pearl anymore.
Yeah.
It's about, I wrote something, the anthill. What the thing what Pearl did is like the anthill. There was always something under the surface anyway.
Yeah.
Pearl was just the shoe that stepped on the anthill for the ants to go crazy. It was always under the surface anyway. And that is what broke my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And as I listen, and every one of you making a valid point. Exactly. And I think you're taking it in the right direction. So, we are coming to understand this, and we need to stop being, when somebody jumps up, even like the Fuentes guy, I guess he went to Trump's dinner with Kanye. We can't be jumping up and down when we hear Kanye pop off, Candace Owens pop off. We got to put our brains in a more enlightening session and go, okay, this person is crazy as a bag of rat shit, right? And we have to learn, how much I say this with people, even though I wake up and watch the news for maybe an hour so I can just get what's going on in the world. But I don't watch it hour after hour after hour, because now the pounding a message into your head that they want you totally focusing on. And as Black people, we are still falling behind the ball. We got to catch up. And that's, sort of like you say, we can't be, people are seeing this, us acting a fool behind what this particular woman is saying. And it's like going to walking on the street in Hollywood. I'm not going to drop into Versace because one reason, I know my money ain't like that. And the second reason is why I got to rock somebody's high expensive clothes. I dress nice, believe it or not. But I don't let I got heavier stuff to deal with than walking around talking about my bling bling and how much I have. I'm financially secured. I'm cool with that. And like I said, I'll make my money here, but us focusing our attention on whether we can sit in a Woolworths or not anymore, we need to let that go. We need to go and get our own place that we feel comfortable that we can sit in and how we can do things. And I'm telling you, I lived in an area that was I was a minority. There were more Samoans and Africans living in the area that I lived, and the Africans were looking at me like, you ain't no African. So I'm a Black American with with ancestry. But I say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. Why are we tripping over this female, over what she says? Why? I mean, if she's running my bank, or she's in the court, and she's a judge with this type of mentality, I need to face the justice system with that issue. But this is a YouTuber, and like my young brother just said, why don't we go get a studio like that, a Fresh and Fit studio or whatever, and focus on what we're doing, you know? And this is why I don't stay on the YouTube streets a lot, because I give information, and I have brothers coming onto my chat on my page trying to help use my information to defraud the government. So I had to shut some of that information down. And I only come on at certain times, and I give people the information to increase their money and increase their benefits. And I tell them, you have to take care of yourselves. But I come on the YouTube streets now, and I'm seeing everybody talking about this lady here. I'm like, and for what? What?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I understand. Well, before I say this, you mentioned Candace Owens and Kanye West.
Yeah, my sister and brother.
They say some things that are outlandish at times.
Very much so.
That I don't agree with.
Exactly.
However, there are some things they say that I do agree with.
Yeah.
Even in those instances that I didn't agree with them, and I'm thinking this is crazy, I'm not going to come out in front of company.
Exactly.
And berate them. I'm just not going to agree with it.
Exactly.
I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You're so right with that. Mama taught us that a long time ago. Boy, shut your mouth. You don't put your laundry out in the street. But, you know, that ended when Jerry Springer started coming up, you know.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then, you know, so then the thing is, like you say, people are chasing that bag or chasing a little bit of money. And you're right. We don't do these things. We don't put our, and we don't disagree with each other in another company. Didn't they say that on The Godfather? Don't ever disagree with another person outside of your family. Right.
Well, here's the thing. You can disagree because we're not monoliths. But when it comes down to disrespecting one another, that's something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've said it several times throughout this broadcast. When me and Mr. Randolph got together, he made his political views known. He is far more conservative, right? I was more liberal, left. Mm-hmm. Sometimes moderate. Mm-hmm. But when we got together, we decided and we committed to one another, we ain't gonna let what's going on outside of this house affect what we got going on inside this house.
That's good.
And we have differences constantly as it relates to political views.
Yeah.
But because we committed to ourselves, we ain't gonna take that foolishness outside of this house and let what's going on outside of this house affect out what's going in this house. And we ain't showing out in front of company. That's it.
Exactly. That's, you know what? And I was talking about that earlier. I said etiquette. There's basic etiquette that you should have no matter where you go. There's basic etiquette, and people they lose focus of that. Disrespectful. You walk into a store now, and the person don't even call you sir anymore. What you need? What's up with your homes? What's up, man? What's up, dude? And you know, we're getting away from that. And like you said, and us reacting over this here. And I agree with you, Kanye, and I see because Kanye sees some things on a billionaire level sometime, and sometimes pay attention to that. Jay-Z said it. Did you watch that one about OJ? He said still Negro, right? And you know, and he's a billionaire, right? So you know, you're still looking at that, and you're sending down these jewels. You know, you say what's worse than everything? Credit. You know, but that's what things we need to focus on. We need to focus on us. We need to focus on, you know, the things that we are looking at with this as we evolve. We have some stuff coming down the track with this. There's going to be some people out there who's going to be asked out on money shortly, and they need to be focusing. Please forgive me. I do not like to tell people what they need to be doing. I would say look out for these things, and we have to be better at helping each other instead of watching, like you said, that. And I like your analogy. She goes and kicks over the anthill and watch us act a fool, right? And then we going off on each other because of what she said. I agree with her. I don't agree with her. I'm like, okay, whatever. We agree to disagree, but let's not put our laundry out in the street like that.
Anybody else have anything else to say?
Yeah,
Because I'm
please, I'm
about to
gonna
wrap it up. No, that's okay. What do you got? Anybody have anything else before I wrap it up?
Well, my fault. But I'm about to go anyway. But nice night meeting everyone, and I do agree with the brother down at the bottom that he does have a point that even if she does have good equipment, I'm like, you know what? If she can get to that level, I can do it. But I'm gonna keep my integrity intact, so I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So that I agree with. So, but other than that, nice on your platform. It's nice meeting your brothers, and keep on growing and have a great evening.
Thank you. Subscribe to the channel.
Come on. I'm already subscribed. You ain't gotta tell me.
Oh, okay.
So you good.
Okay.
You good.
Have a good day.
I'm gonna get out of here as well, my dear lady. I thank you very much for having me up, and I do support you. I'm in your background a lot, but I want to wish you a wonderful day, and thank you very much. And
put your channel in the chat, because I'm a veteran. You know, I believe in helping veterans too, because again, I met a veteran the other day when we were getting the U-Haul truck for my aunt, and I said, you get your VA benefits because I help people with that.
There you go. That's beautiful.
But I ain't co-sign no bull crap.
Exactly. No, yeah, I'm 100% vet. I did it all by myself with the help of the DAV. But yeah, and we try to get people up. And like you say, I'm with that too. So yeah, I'm the Seattle Black veteran. You see it on the screen here. Yeah, just pop over, subscribe, check out some things. We're going to be talking about emotional support pets, and we're going to be continue talking about mental health as well. Mental health is one thing that's ravishing our streets a lot, along with drug use. So we got to talk and get you on that. Remember this for me: mind, body, and soul. You have to take care of each of those and balance those out, because we need you here when you get your benefits. We need you here to enjoy and spend that money. You dig? Absolutely. All right. I love it. Please hit me up. I love you, sis, and take great care, guys. And much respect to the gentlemen on the chat here. You guys take great care. All right. Good night.
So if you want to come up to talk, to give some insight, I'm open to that. You're gonna have to show me who you are, because I ain't playing no games with y'all. I ain't playing no games with y'all. So sis RM, will you drop the link in there if she wants to come up and give some insight? Mr. Afro Disciple 88, what you got?
I just had a quick question, because I like listening to people who came before me. I love listening to elders, and I'm just curious because I'm married, so I'm kind of like far removed from the interactions that we're usually talking about in these dating spaces. But I'm just curious, like, what would you guys suggest is the best way for us to kind of relate to each other better, even at just a basic level? Because the problem I notice is that we have a lot of men who unfortunately grew up in single mother situations where they didn't have a man to teach them how to be a man. And we have a lot of women, I guess, who don't know that either, don't know how to accept or even be around men without thinking they want something from them. So they never really truly feel safe around them. So how do we kind of build from there? Because that's what I find to be the biggest issues of us getting together,
Well, one of the things I've noticed, we don't talk to each other. And what I mean by that, we do a whole bunch of texting. We do a whole bunch of DMing. We do a whole bunch of replying and comments. As far as actual conversations with each other, we don't. So what I would submit, say, for instance, a man such as yourself, or even someone of influential status, if they want to host a meeting offline, a Zoom meeting offline, and ask some of those questions and have the dialogue and say, let's hear from your standpoint, what are we missing? And literally have conversations, but be willing to hear and receive differing opinions, and not try to make somebody look like a damn fool. Because a lot of times people, they don't know what to say, so they may say the wrong thing.
Very true.
They may say the wrong thing. Hell, I have. But
I'm so
again,
sorry.
a lot of times,
You off. No, I'm just getting a work call. I have to hop off. But thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, and thank you for coming up. Appreciate it.
Bye.
And continuing with his question, how do we do it? You know, I am all for what, you know, and I thank God that people have, you know, some people have reached out to me and say, you know, and asked me for my opinion on certain things and asked me to facilitate conversations, because I'm for that. You know, I'm for that. And I guess it depends on what your motivations are. Yes, this is a business, but I'm not here to make money. If I do, that's great. But that's not why I'm here, because I do want to see us win. I do want to see us together. I do want to see us flourish. I do want us to rebuild a community. I want us to love each other again. I want us to like each other again.
Yeah. There you go.
It's funny because I say all the time, I love Mr. Randolph, but moreover, I like him.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay, so now I'm gonna tell you something, Akumo. If you come over here with some bullcrap, I see your face. Are you decent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. Trust me, I am decent. So sorry about
Okay.
that. You know, I didn't mean to scare you. You can tell by my accent, I am from the UK. So, and I've actually been on the podcast quite a few times in London.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to give you some insight, and like I said, part of me doesn't think she's sincere.
And why
Yeah.
not?
There's a video. Do you know Sarah Garvey?
I've seen him once, and actually, I saw him as a result of what's been happening here as of late.
He was in the inner circle, and he's actually done an exposed video on her, and it's actually on his YouTube channel, which he goes to show you some of the intricate detail what was going on as well, because he was an independent contractor in terms of him being one of the presenters and stuff, and he presents some very interesting insights, and for me, that confirms my suspicion that she's not sincere. Yeah, because I remember I used to follow her, and I thought, okay, it's quite interesting, and I'm a Christian, so I thought, okay, it'll be good to come as a Christian to find out, to find a Christian perspective on the dating relationships and stuff. And at the beginning, it seemed sincere, but what got me was the way everything was framed: modern women this, modern women that, and by some strange coincidence, why was it a black woman all the time? That psychological warfare. And I said to say, you know what? There's something odd about this, but I couldn't put my finger on it. It's like you have an intuition, but you don't know you just need evidence to confirm your suspicion. And for me, what Sarah said, he said, and it only came out today. It's very interesting. So
is this? Suffice it to say, is Sarah not going to be associated with her anymore?
No, he's not. He's not anymore. In fact, he's not going to no longer do it, and that for me shows some integrity.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And see, here's the thing. Sometimes we go into situations blindly because we want to believe the best.
Yes, we do. I was that way myself. I was more than happy to help. I even was considering to be a presenter in terms of taking it from a spiritual perspective. But there was just some vibes about it over time. It was clickbaity. You realize that she hasn't got substance to her argument. She's just parroting talking points. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute. And obviously, because she has such a fan base, it's like, she's literally telling men what they want to hear. It's like, whoa. She's literally, in my opinion, and Hafiz said it best, she's the Derek Jackson of the manosphere. That's what she is.
Well, we have more than her that are Derek Jacksons of the manosphere, for sure. Not as big, but we do have some. I will say, like I said, we go into situations blindly because we want to believe. And I've had, instances of people who whom I loved and who I thought loved me. And over time, they revealed themselves to be not who I thought they were.
Yes.
And I had to make different decisions. But by the same token, like I said earlier, there are people who've said things that even though I don't believe that they are racist, they said things that could be construed as racist. And I brought it to their attention because they were ignorant to the fact. And I'm not just talking about somebody that's 26, I'm talking about somebody that's older. But when I say, hey, this is how this could be perceived, and I don't perceive it that way because I truly know you and I love you and I believe you know me. I think you need to know how this sounds, the optics of it.
Exactly. It's a bit like what the Bible says: be all things to all men, so you can win some. The problem is that the fact that there was no. I remember when I was surprised this wasn't reacted to 3 weeks ago when the interview actually came out, because I was thinking, how come no one's reacting? And it wasn't until Jason Black reacted to it last week that it kind of blew up and stuff. So it's kind of long overdue, because obviously I've been aware of Nick Fuentes for years, knowing him to be a white supremacist and stuff. And I'm thinking, why on earth how come can you pivot from talking about relationships to bringing a white nationalist on your show without no pushback? And what gets me angry is this naive look that she gives. I didn't know, I was just trying to be different. I'm so sorry. Then next video where she talks to the lead attorney saying that I'm coming for you. Is that sincere? What should have happened is that you should have said, okay, take a break for a week and you come back as maybe a changed person. The fact that you say you're going to come for people, something that you caused, and you'll talk about accountability for women, but you're not taking accountability. You want to blame every people for your actions.
Well, like I said, again, she is a boss, if you will. She employs people. So as the boss, John Maxwell states, everything rises and falls on leadership.
It does.
So like you are the leader, whether you want to be one or not.
Yes.
So you take credit for when things go good, and you take credit for when things go bad. Absolutely. And you as the leader set the tone for your employees.
Absolutely, ma'am.
And in setting the tone, I would ask myself, and it's not even about having the Nick Fuentes there. Because again, yes, Oprah Winfrey did it. Yes, Jerry Springer did it. However, there were some pushback.
Exactly.
And some of the things they said in calling out on things that were disrespectful to the other people in the audience who may have been a part of the race of which you were speaking.
Yes.
So, exactly. And there was no jokety joke about things that were serious to the people of whom you were speaking. So I think, and like I said before, I questioned when I saw her on Obsidian. To me, she seemed indifferent.
Yes, exactly.
She seemed indifferent. And I guess she could be because she didn't have to defend herself because other people were doing it for her.
It wasn't that though. I think what happened is she got emboldened because a lot of people in the chat were saying, you didn't need to apologize. These black people are so sensitive. But she thought, oh, I've got a fan base now, so let me ride this wave. And what she's successfully done, she's divided black Africans from black American Africans as well. And that's something that Sarah has just pointed out in his video. I've got to send it to you. So it'll be interesting.
I think Courtney Michelle put it in the chat, and I will say at this juncture, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not even about Pearl anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. It's about what we've allowed someone to come in and say something, whether you deem that it was bad or not. But we've allowed that for us to fight, and not just fight, but fight viciously.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and that's what gets me so angry is that when Courtney Michelle had her issues on the Lepith network last year, everyone was roasting her. No one gave her no mercy. But all of a sudden, we've got her. She makes a mistake, and everyone's saying it wasn't that bad. She's from a rich family. for me, that was even suspicious. I was even suspicious from the beginning because I was thinking to myself, you're from a rich family, but you're asking for donations. That don't make sense to me. But yeah, you got people that got medium, that are working class, black YouTubers, but you don't give them no donation. They haven't got a rich dad that can just fund her starting empire. I always found that a little bit odd for me. But I was deceived because I thought she was sincere. I thought she was like, oh, she was quite sincere. Believed in some of Kevin Samuel's talking points. I thought, okay, it'll be good. But like I said, the wolf in sheep's clothing, I guess.
One of the things I said on Courtney Michelle's show is that what I found interesting is the Black manosphere talks about, and even Kevin Samuels, God rest his soul, talked about how Black women did not prioritize relationships in their youth. So busy climbing the career ladder and their best years, they wasted their best years. And that is true. However, when it comes to Pearl, is that not what she's doing?
Exactly.
Is that not what she's doing? Because she's prioritizing the building of her empire, the building of her organization at a time at 26 that according to the men, she should be prioritizing marriage and family. So it's okay for her on this side, but not okay for us. So that is the contradiction or the hypocrisy for me.
Yeah.
Because there's so many men who said how we hit the wall and all of this, and I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is not true that we prioritize career to the point that when we want to settle down, we can't.
Exactly.
But isn't it true for her too? Because again, she has risen to a level of and is competitive with male channels. Is that not?
Surpassed them.
Yes,
she surpassed them. Like Rollo Tomasi doesn't like her anymore. She was always, referred to him as her god in terms of quoting him. Even he despises her now. So,
well, you have any last words before I drop you? Because I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to go.
No. I just thought that it'd be good to have someone that's based in the UK that's actually been on the podcast quite a few times. So I just thought I'd just come and join in.
Well, I appreciate you. And thank you so much for stopping by.
No problem, ma'am. You take care. You have a good day.
Bye-bye. Mr. Allah, what do you have, sir?
Can I just 3 parting thoughts if I can? First, hello to Courtney Michelle, who is young enough to be my granddaughter. She's a very nice, beautiful Black woman. Hi, Courtney Michelle. Number 2, I dropped Donovan Sharp from my YouTube subscribe list. I thought he was too negative and too anti-Black. He was just really not there, and he was wrong. Do you see the woman in the background in my picture?
Yes.
That was my wife in 1999.
I was wondering.
Isn't she beautiful? The photo was taken at the 7th and Metro rail station for the LAC MTA when it opened in 1999. And there she is in her glory. I was married to her.
Was she looking at you?
Well, she was looking at the camera while I was taking a picture of the train and her. She got in the picture. So that's just one of many beautiful pictures I have of her. Those are my 3 parting shots. I'd like to be on your show again if possible. And I thank you very, very much for allowing me in your wonderful format.
You're welcome anytime, sir.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Thank you all for stopping by. Again, I like I said before, I understand the outrage or the frustration with what she said. Because like I said, as a great granddaughter of a slave and who can remember the stories told by my grandfather and his siblings, there's no embellishment there. And my family is just one example, again, to recount the uncle who is of my great-grandmother's 11 children. Her oldest, who is mulatto. And that child is a result of what happened on that plantation that my great-grandfather could do nothing about and have to look at a child that wasn't his. So no. So I can understand the outrage because I was offended by it. But it's so much more than our differences of how we view what she said, didn't say, did or didn't do. It's so much bigger than that. It's about the fact that we have allowed her to kick the anthill because of what was going on below the surface between us. Pearl was just the person that stepped on the anthill with all the discord that was going on underneath, and then we just converged on each other and the shoe. And now we're not just disagreeing, but we are just maligning one another. I want us to get to a point not only that we love each other again, but that we like each other again. And even in families, you don't always agree. But this in front of company. And the company is not just Pearl. It's the pearls at large that concerns me. And I will say to the gentleman who was just called in from UK, I wasn't familiar with the Nick Fuentes, and shout out to Jason Black for his investigative journalism, because I thought that was an excellent job too. So I want to make it clear, I love being a Black woman. I love being a Black American. I love being loved by a Black man. A Black man who has opposing political views than myself, for the most part. But we vowed we weren't going to let what was happening outside of our house affect what was going on inside, and we were not going to show out in front of company. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking us, if we will, can we agree to come to the table and hash out our issues offline and present a united front to the world, even if we have different viewpoints? That's what I'm asking. So anyway, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Well, thank you again for stopping by. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please share if you think what I've said makes any sense to anybody. And until next time, ciao for now.
Said I got a story to tell. You don't hear me. Said I got a story about a girl. Yeah. Check. See, I've been up all night typing this love letter. Hoping you open the message saying I love you better. You've been keeping me on red. I know I'm out the picture. Ain't nothing worse than the way, just a request. I started on a nigga wave like a drop by. Saw you out, so I figured out I'd say hi. Ain't no pressure, just want a good time. Something we get to sharing up on a timeline. She's my type of girl. Magic carpet around the world. She'll show you things that you can't imagine. Straight hair or fancy curl, bright as diamond, clutch as pearls. She's my one and only digital girl. My sunshine and the rain. Sunshine and the rain. My sunshine and the rain. Oh, my.
First we outside, you beaming your light, giving me shades of dope. Now I'm walking in pools of water, my Yeezy. So, you had a faith that get Jesus hope, but the devil is pleased. I'm on my knees, I intercede for our peace. Girl, your love is the antidote. Body like a goddess, your beauty on displays in the finest museums. You shining like discos, but who knew that through the fire all the grow this froze? Unwrap your envelope, baby, let's disclose. I don't beat around bushes, no babe, I don't tiptoes. Not a ballerina, but I see balances drop jaws from your spoken words that rain dancing in tip jars. I applaud you, but these problems we face feeling so colossal. You put shovels of dirt digging in my fossils. Every hurt I try and fix, you say I scarred you. I've dropped dimes before, don't tell me that I lost you. It's two sides to every coin, and every road's gonna have its thorns. I'm placing these stems, my palms bleed. Maybe your rain can rinse these stains from these leaves, cause I still need my sunshine in the rain. Sunshine, my sunshine in the rain. Yeah. My sunshine in the rain.